Welcome back to the Girl Out of Order podcast. I am grateful today that you have joined us for this episode. I don't have my typical zip and spitfire, and I don't even think I have a whole lot of joy oozing out of me. But what I do have is certainty. And the certainty I have is that this must stop. What do I mean by that? Well, I'm recording this the day after the attempted assassination of former President Donald Trump. And my heart is so heavy for our world and for our country and for humanity in general. And so I wanted to hop on. I scrapped my previous topic and I wanted to hop on today to drill down on something that is so foundational to Girl Out of Order and foundational to who I am as a woman, as a leader, as a mother, and as a friend. And why does that have anything to do with the attempted assassination of Donald Trump? Well, I want to make this very clear, and don't turn me off because all of us need to hear this, but I want to make this very, very clear. And you know I'm a woman of my word. What I say is what I mean. This is not a political statement of any kind. This isn't coming from any perspective, left, right, center, zigzag, upside down, backwards, forwards, doesn't matter. It has nothing to do with politics or agendas or positions. Oh, this has everything to do with community and humanity and compassion and the heart that I have to build a crazy tribe of women who are fiercely committed to what draws us together, not what pulls us apart. And so today's episode is called This Stops Now. Words create worlds. And I feel so compelled to speak about the potency of the words that we choose to speak about not only ourselves, which can be devastating or empowering, but the words that we use to speak about the people with whom we disagree. The rhetoric in this country, and I'm sure around the world, but I can only speak to America, but the rhetoric has risen to such a vitriolic level that we no longer see each other as human beings. We have so lost sight of the inherent dignity and value and preciousness of people that we don't agree with, that we can't even have conversations. Family members have cut each other out of their lives because they vote differently or think differently, or they might like a certain former president or they hate a certain former president. And it extends well beyond politics. It has permeated every corner of our society. And this has to stop now, because the words that we choose either give life or they take life. And in the instance of this horrible, evil tragedy yesterday, life was actually taken. And I am putting it out there that I truly believe that the source of this evil perpetrated by that clearly lost young man was words. What words are we choosing to use when we describe how we feel about a certain issue, whether it's abortion or the climate or immigration or the economy or our friend's boyfriend or, our ex-husband? What words do we choose to spew out of our mouth or breathe out of our mouth? Words create worlds, and the world that we are creating with the words that so many people are using to describe one another is tragic and dehumanizing. And if you watched that assassination attempt video and you weren't moved to your core about the humanity on display, you got to check yourself. You got to check your heart. You don't have to like the man that was speaking that. I don't care what your thoughts are on the former president. But you got to check your heart if you didn't see a human being laying there covered in blood with a wife and children and grandchildren and hobbies and loves and passions. Doesn't matter if you agree with a single freaking thing he stands for or says. He's a human being, and so are you, and so am I. And until we start once again seeing each other as the human beings that we are, we can't move forward. And why does this have anything to do with Girl Out of Order? Because we have 3 pillars in our beautiful community. In this community that I am building through the love and the passion I have for women to fully embrace their unique selves and to stop trying to fit into other people's molds. That's the overarching premise. But what are those 3 pillars that help women do that, that build this beautiful community? We cultivate bravery to truly and fully and completely understand who you are and love that beautiful person you see in the mirror. And then we inspire you to live boldly into your true identity, moving through your life and showing up at your work and in your marriage and in your family, caring for your elderly parents and in your workplace, showing up boldly and congruently with who you are, but with grace and persuasiveness because you're living authentically. But the pillar that has me moved to tears in the last 12 hours is the passion I have to build bridges among all women. And I mean all. I don't care where you're from, how you speak, who you love, how you vote, how you spend your money, what your education level is, whether you drive a forklift or run a Fortune 500 company. I don't care if you live in the suburbs, the country, Appalachia, or on an island in Hawaii. I don't care if you're in South America, North America, either in the heart of Russia or Tajikistan. I can't even say it, but there's somebody on this podcast from Tajikistan who's listening, so why not call that beautiful soul out? I want to build a community that focuses on what brings us together. Our commonalities as female human beings are so full and varied and interesting, and just there's so many things that we have in common. And I've been sharing recently about my journey towards a hysterectomy and trying to share about women's health and women's bodies, and so many people can relate to what I'm talking about because we are freaking women. And we are a community of women who probably disagree with one another on occasion. And that's not only okay, but that makes us better. We have to be a community that stands for building a connected community bound together by love, compassion, and like I said, commonalities. We got to dial our rhetoric back. We need to check our hearts. We need to get back to a time when you could sit across from the table with somebody who doesn't vote like you, look like you, speak like you, love like you, and listen and learn from her. Even if you never change each other's minds a bit, you walk away as sisters, knowing that life is rich because we have different perspectives. Forgive the cough. Good old summer colds. The assassination attempt of Donald Trump has really raised some deep stirrings within me, and I hope in the whole world. But I want this community to hear me loud and clear. There must be an honest, heartfelt, introspective reckoning about the words we choose, the judgments we make, and the love we withhold as a result of that. Do you want to be a source of connection? Because I do. I do. And anyone who knows me knows that I am very into politics. I'm very into the Constitution and the Supreme Court and things that fire me up, probably annoy the crap out of people around me, but that's okay. It takes all kinds. But at my heart, at my core, deep inside me, what I want more than anything is to be part of a community of women who learn from each other. I don't want to be in an echo chamber of people who are just parroting back the things that I think and the things that I believe and positions and opinions that I have. How am I ever going to grow if I'm not listening and learning and loving people who are different than me? I'm going to say it again because I know it bears repeating. This is not a political statement of any kind. This isn't about Republicans. It's not about Democrats. It's not about Trump, Biden, or anybody else in the political atmosphere. This is about you, sister. This is about me, sister, because I need to check myself. As we have this lead up to this major, monumental, groundbreaking election in the United States of America, what kind of country do we want to live in? Because it starts with you and it starts with me. Words create worlds. What worlds are you creating with the words that come out of your beautiful mouth? Are you calling somebody a Nazi or an idiot or a crook or a criminal? Or are you saying, wow, I really don't like that man. I don't like how he speaks. I don't like his positions. But I'm not going to stoop to the level that, frankly, both sides have stooped to. The demonization of those with whom we disagree has become the single most potent weapon of disconnection, disintegration of community, and isolation in, like I said, those damn echo chambers. Hearts have become hardened, families have stopped speaking, and necessary conversations have been silenced. Not on my watch. Not at Girl Out of Order. We can't remain silent because it's uncomfortable to wade into conversations that might make you feel a little uncomfortable, a little unnerved. Like, she may not think the same of me. She may not look down on me. I might lose her as a friend. I have friends right now who have no idea how I vote, but it's very different than them. And there's been times where I'm thinking, what's going to happen when they find out, because they're really entrenched in their positions. And I'm owning that shit, because here's the deal. That's cowardly on my part. It is cowardly on my part to hide parts of who I am and what I value because I don't want confrontation. And I don't want to take the risk of the listener rejecting me. But isn't it all about how we approach topics? Isn't it all about showing up fully as who you are? Because I believe when you are building bridges among all women, it doesn't mean we don't talk about hard topics. For the love of God, The world we live in is filled with hard, difficult, thorny topics. And unless we choose to have conversations about it, healing can't happen. Divisions will grow bigger. And the divide between women who might be different in their opinions prevents a beautiful coming together of the community that Girl Out of Order stands for. You see, when you are brave and you dial into your true, authentic identity and you start living fully as who you are and owning it, and then you move through that boldness piece and learn how to live out your identity with boldness and grace, then you draw people to you. And then the community building begins. Because we got to get around the table. We got to get around the table with people we don't agree with. I don't want to live in a world where it's ever acceptable to tweet, practice harder, and next time don't miss, in reference to shooting Donald Trump. I don't want to live in that world. I do not want to live in a world where the child of one of my clients who's adopted is called a monkey at her school in 7th and 8th grade. I do not want to live in a world where a Jewish student can't even walk to class without being surrounded, told to go back to Poland, and spat upon because of who he is. Now, those are really dramatic examples, but let me call out the subtleties. Let me call out the small ways that we dig at one another in the way we describe them. What about criticizing someone and then ending it with, oh, bless her heart? Let me just tell you, bless her heart does not erase the dig that you just made towards your sister. This type of rhetoric and dehumanizing language towards other human beings stops now. It has to stop now. We are going to fight in this country over things that we value, things that we want, positions that we have. It's okay to have hard, sometimes brutal conversations and know that a pro-life person and a pro-choice person are probably never going to agree, but you can walk away with respect. In the Girl Out of Order community, we have a wide range of political and faith backgrounds and positions on issues, and that makes us stronger. The United States has always been described as a melting pot, and I know it originally was about the different ethnicities that would come through Ellis Island and how the country was built, and that's beautiful. But I want to posit something just a little bit different, maybe just a little expanded, because we need to be a melting pot of ideas bound together by our common humanity. Can we do that? Can you commit to that? Are you willing to search your heart, search your soul, and check your language? I know it was a serious topic today, but I'm feeling really serious. And I am serious about this community and wanting the best for us and wanting those bridges to be built among all women, regardless of what you believe, where you're from, how you pray, who you love, what your age is, what your education is, where you work. And you're here. So I suspect you want that too. We are in this together. And in my opinion, there is no growth and change without togetherness. So let's commit together to watch our words, because those words create worlds. Those words we choose can breathe life or take away the humanity of others. Let us be life givers. Let us be change makers. And let us all continue to commit to build bridges among all women. We are so much stronger together. May God bless each and every one of you. Hug those you love and commit to creating a beautiful, beautiful life force of a life, a world that is filled with empowering, loving, kind, generous, respectful words. I'll see you.